What's good, HG fam? It's your boy Mo here, and today is World Air Max Day, the yearly celebration of one of Nike's most popular run of sneakers. We're going to talk about the NBA player who wears exclusively only Air Max 90s to play in, and the story behind why he has to wear them. Legendary sneaker designer Tinker Hatfield designed the shoes, originally known as the Air Max 3, to be worn by runners. With tons of colorways to choose from, my favorite pair of Air Max 90s are these ones. This is the collab between Baseman and Manchester-based brand Graham. It's absolutely sick, and if you haven't heard of Graham before, make sure you go check them out because they've got the waviest garments on road right now. Every sneakerhead has a pair of Air Max 90s in their closet. You know, even George W. Bush has a pair of Air Max 90s that Nike's designed especially for him. 30 years on from the release of the shoe, we don't typically see many pro athletes wearing them. They're a running shoe, but we don't see any runners wearing them, so it doesn't make sense that we would see an NBA player playing in the hardest basketball league in the world wearing the Air Max 90. As you can see, the upper is made from mesh, so there's not much support. There's a huge air bubble here. The sole is really thick, so it keeps you way off the ground. You don't have much control, much stability, and don't get me started on the waffle pan down below. I can see why NBA players go for the most modern sneakers like the latest Jordans or, you know, the newest LeBrons, because the technology in those is far superior. So hit that subscribe button because we're about to dive into which NBA player wears these classic kicks on the hardwood and the reason that he wears them. Now, over the years, we've seen some crazy kicks grace the NBA hardwood. Nick Young wore the Adidas Yeezy Boost 750s while he was with the Lakers. PJ Tucker, the sneaker king, flexed their Nike Air Yeezy 2 Red Octobers, which are now worth up to $7,000 on StockX. One of my favorite players of all time, Gilbert Arenas, wore some high-top Dolce & Gabbana sneakers. But for all of these guys, those were rare occasions, and these aren't the regular go-to sneakers for them. It's Thabo Sefolosha of the Houston Rockets that wears nothing but the Air Max 90s when he's on the court. He used to play in the high-top Huaraches until Nike stopped producing them. He then moved on to an Air Max 1, the high-top versions, or should I say the mid-top versions, with the slight collar around the heel before finally settling on the 90s. To find out why he wears the classic sneaker, we have to take a trip back to 2015. Back in 2015, Pacers player Chris Copeland was stabbed outside a New York City nightclub. As a member of the Atlanta Hawks at the time, Thabo and his teammate Pero Antic were walking from the club where the incident happened back to their car when Thabo stopped to give a homeless man some money. He was then surrounded by 5 police officers who forced him to the floor, breaking his leg in the process before being falsely arrested by the NYPD. X-rays showed the full injury to be a broken fibula, the ligaments separated from his ankle, and the ligaments at the front of his leg were also torn. Thabo then cleared his name in court. He was found not guilty on all charges and was awarded $4 million by the city of New York, most of which he donated to non-profit organizations. Following his ankle surgery, Sefolosha started wearing Air Maxes as his everyday sneaker because they were the most comfortable ones he could find, and then he decided they were the most comfortable ones to wear on the court as well. Nike gifted him 2 signature colorways, and he also spends a lot of time designing his own with Nike ID. So if it wasn't for the events that unfolded on the night of Chris Copeland's stabbing, would Thabo Sefolosha have ever found the Air Max 90 and decided to ball in them, or would he still be rocking some of the kicks he did before his leg was broken? You know, I've seen him wearing the KDs amongst other sneakers. But we can't turn back time, and the Air Max 90 is now the only shoe that Thabo feels comfortable balling in on the court. Now, as a hooper, I don't know if any of you guys at home have played in an Air Max 90, but I have, because one day I had a college game, I forgot to pack my game day kicks, and I had to ball in my pair of Air Max 90s. It was a blue and white pair back in the day, and I can tell you this, they are definitely not made for basketball. My game is very different to Thabo Sefolosha's. He's a lot more laterally quick, which I think helps him because of the lightness of the shoe, but for me there was absolutely no grip, no stability. I was sliding all over the place, but maybe that's because the courts in England are so dusty, but we'll never know. I wouldn't recommend balling in a pair of Air Max 90s. You might do if you're at the park and you want to shoot up a few hoops, but this is the NBA we're talking about. I mean, Rasheed Wallace used to play in the Air Force Ones. He's known for them. They're iconic, but he's from a different generation. Thabo Sefolosha is still playing in this day and age where you have all the technology of the fly wires, the zooms, everything else that goes into a sneaker. It could be boost, it could be whatever you like, but he's still rocking the Air Max 90s, which are a classic that will never go out of style, but I don't think we're going to see any other players wearing them anytime soon. I want to know from you guys in the comments below, which Air Maxes are your favorites? For me, it's probably the 95s or the 97s, but you can't go wrong with an Air Max 1. Tinker Hatfield actually took inspiration from the Air Max 1 when he created these Jordan 3s last year. These have got the removable swooshes so you can change the color, but you know, you can see the red going around the exterior, which is a big inspiration from the 1. These Jordan 4s that recently dropped from Nike take large inspiration from the OG neon colorways of the Air Max 95s, and if you grew up in London, you know about everyone back in the day was wearing the 95s in the Volt colorway, the OG neons. So let us know in the comments below which Air Maxes are your favorite, and would you ever try to ball in a pair of Air Max 90s? Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, follow Hoop Genius on all platforms, and most importantly, get buckets.